What's up, everybody, man? Welcome to this Second Chance podcast, Second Chance Success podcast. Today, we have a special guest, man. He's a chair of my primary business, Prolific Potential. He works on economic development for the culture. He does real estate. He's just a beast in all aspects, man. Jahleel Vester, man. What's up? What's up? It's good to have you.
Bro, thank you.
Most definitely.
Thank you for having me here. I got to say, we met at the, what was the name? I don't remember the name of the event, but essentially a bunch of brothers coming together for the culture to dress up in suits and really just change the way people see us and how we present ourselves. The name will probably pop like later in this episode.
Yeah.
I remember going to that, just wanting to get more connected, right? I met you and your energy was like, okay, we got to get together. And to see where we started to how you just been executing, blowing up the program, impacting more and more kids, like just shout out to you, bro. And then this new venture right here, just I'm grateful to be your friend. So thank you for having me.
Nah, man, I really appreciate that, bro. I don't remember what that thing was called again, but it was a spectacle, bro. Like for those people that don't know, man, we were how many of us? It was a thing where all these guys came from out of town and they got a bunch of black men together, everybody in suits, and young black boys. Everybody in suits. And we literally, where do we walk all around, like
through Seattle,
like in like militant doing photos. When I tell you, they were stopping us. It was to the point there was ladies, even the white lady, they was like, "Oh my God, you guys are so beautiful." They were like, they were stopping us. They were like, "You guys are so beautiful. Like this is crazy," and it was so powerful. I remember, man, and that is, we were doing the pictures. We connected and tapped in. Jimmy Brown was there from Build to Lead and everything. And we all tapped in and chopped it up. And then we went and had lunch soon. And I remember at that time, I was working on rebuilding my circle, my friend circle, and like getting more people. And you had that positive energy and you were super professional, bro. I thought you was like 30, not because of your looks. You know, you look super young. You look super young. But I was like, the way this man like carries himself and professionally and personally, it's amazing, bro. And to find out that you're really young. How old are you right now again?
I'm 28.
28, bro.
Yes, sir.
And you were 26 or 25 when I met you?
I was like 26, 25. Yeah, somewhere in there.
Handling business, already a homeowner and everything, bro, right?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I got a rental property. And yeah, so.
Bro, come on, man. Listen, can we get an applause for that? At 26, how to rental property? Look, some of us just get our first apartments at that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And I think I was 25 when I got that. Or it was my house, and then once I moved out like 6 months later, then it became a rental.
Come on.
I guess so. Maybe I was 26.
Come on, man. But working on different. We're gonna get to that point, man. How we're working on different income streams and and how you smash in that space. What I really want to do, man, is I want to take them to just a brief of Jahleel coming up. Right. I know a little bit about with the background, your mom, pops, and how you was to get it. You got into real estate, but take us on a little piece of that journey.
Yeah, bro. Well, I guess it starts. It starts with my parents, really. So I got my story wouldn't exist without the story of my parents. So they're the soil that I was planted in. And so my mom, she's a Jamaican woman, came up in Jamaica, came to the States.
Which tripped me out when I found out he was half Jamaican. I said, "What the hell?"
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, come on.
Then I realized the personality matches.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So mom's from Jamaica. Her father, my granddad, rest in peace. He was able to get the family over when she was about 13, 14. Something like that, and came up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And so after that, so kind of fast forwarding her story, she was super smart, but I like to tell this story because she could have gotten an academic scholarship almost anywhere. She's brilliant. She worked super hard. And she's like, "Dad, okay, if sign," she's working with her guidance counselor, and she's asking him like, "Hey, Dad, if you just sign these papers, then I'll be able to start going for FAFSA and scholarships to do this college experience." And I think that, money was probably a thing, and I don't think he was trying to find a way to finance that. So he gave her 4 choices. She's like, "Dad, I just sign this paper and I'll have a chance to be able to start applying and going." He said 4 choices: Army, Air Force, Navy, or Marines. But then I want to go to Army, Air Force, Navy, or Marines. Boom. So she chose the Navy. And
wow.
So that's her. Then my dad, he came up in Detroit. His father, murdered at a young age.
Wow.
He saw, had different men in the home for a little bit. Then our grandpa Rufus.
Wow.
And so Grandpa Rufus and Nanny, they were together for a long time, and they recently passed, just past the pandemic. So yeah, life is just life, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But I'm proud of him, because he didn't have everything perfectly modeled for him. Neither of my parents did.
Right.
He graduated high school late, and he's just doing his thing, cooking. I think he was a chef for a little bit, and then eventually I remember him telling me how like he had a buddy that was going to join the military and talk to someone else, and then eventually he joined the Navy, and what he's been able to do with his life. Both of my parents retired from the military.
Wow.
I mean, he got out the hood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he found
Detroit hood too.
Detroit hood.
Detroit hood.
Detroit hood.
Yeah,
okay, and not everybody. I got an uncle that's been in for 30 something years, bro.
Woo.
I'll be talking to him, send a message on JPay, like it's real.
Yeah.
So not everybody gets out.
Come on.
But he got out, and he found Jesus, and that, like, it's amazing, like how he didn't have everything modeled, but he was able, like what he was able to do with us as his kids. I'm just proud of him for that. You know what I'm saying? So that's them, and they met in Jacksonville, and then gave birth to greatness.
Yes, talk to me.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So born out there. We lived in Japan actually for about 7 years. Yeah, Yokosuka, Japan.
Wow.
And because they just loved it. And the Navy, you know what I'm saying? So there's opportunities there. And then now what's cool about us, especially our experience as being like young military children, most military kids, they have one parent that's in. And so they'll move around like every 2 to 3 years or so, just because that's like, if you don't deploy, you don't advance or promote, essentially. So they're kind of always having you going to wherever the mission has you, because both of my parents were in, and they were both locked in on like doing their best to keep our family together. They would take deployments back and forth, but then they kept us as the kids pretty stable. And so we were in Japan for 7. And then once we got to Whidbey Island about like 2001. So I have a sister that was born out there in Japan. Then we got to the island around like 2000, 2001 or something like that. Whidbey Island, Oak Harbor is pretty much where we call home, because then they were able to take the deployments, but us as kids got to stay pretty stable. And so Oak Harbor is kind of mostly home for me.
Right.
And and that was just a great environment. I found they encouraged us to do sports. We did all kind of sports. Wrestling was my main one. That's what gave me the opportunity to go to college. So I wrestled out in college, out at Central College, D3 out there in Pella, Iowa. And that was just a really good time. And now kind of transitioning into where I had these professional leanings, right? Like I knew I liked money at an early age. I cut grass, and then eventually I was like, oh, I want to get a job. And Dad's like, no, just pick up more clients. And
Come on.
Me and my brother, we had J&J Services, and we had like.
And how old?
Oh, we were like 12.
12.
I was 12. He's 11.
Did you have a legal business entity surrounding it?
No.
You're just doing it. 12 years old, 12-year-old entrepreneur. Come on.
Oh, bro. So and it was cool because we got so Dad put up a sheet behind us so we can have a straight background.
Right.
I found the camera thing, so I took our pictures. So we had me, my brother Jeremy, and then made a little business card on Word, printed it out, and then I'm like cutting them. You know what I'm saying? And then we went to, because we're on base housing, so pretty much like all the houses are kind of like, it's like a bunch of duplexes, so you share a wall.
It's like cookie cutter.
Yeah, it's like cookie cutter. So everything's the same. They're just imagine like a bunch of rows of baby blue houses.
Oh wow,
probably like 7 rows back, and then you got like a whole nother section. So this is on a couple acres. So everything's kind of the same, but with the first section, and then you got the back section, which is the big houses. Okay. So we went to pretty much like all of the mailboxes, because everyone had to go to the same little mailboxes, and we're putting up our signs, J&J Service. And then people would call.
But what? Hold on. Let's pause right here, bro.
Okay.
So you said that you guys was 12 years old.
Yeah. Decided
to start cutting grass, right? And then you go and tell your dad. You say, Dad, look, I want to just get a job, because you're like, man, I want to get a job now.
Yeah.
I want a steady like income that I know is going to come.
Yeah.
And your dad said, nah, bro, pick up more clients.
Yes.
Pick up more clients. And then you guys went,
you
guys did something that was dope. And I love this because I love the fact your dad said, nah, pick up more clients. Because I think a lot of people, what people don't understand is like, you can have a steady check, right?
Yep.
And it's comfortable. It's comfortable, right?
Yeah.
But if you do start the entrepreneurship journey, it's difficult. But if you know if you know the angle to expand it and know how to drive that forward more and focus on that, you can actually become real successful. And you learned that at 12. And then how you went and you cut out, you said you took the picture with a background and you cut it out. So one thing I like to push to people, I'm like, man, listen, do what you can with what you have now, right? Do what you can with what you have now, because that's all you have. And you did that, bro. And I think that's brilliant at 12 years old, man. I think that's so dope at 12 years old.
I'm grateful too, man, because it's like another part of that is I had the design. And so I was actually at first, I didn't just start. My first idea wasn't cutting grass. I saw some kids that came to our house. They ding dong. I go to the door because his mom was like, go get the door. I was like, go get the door. These kids, all right. And they've got like, imagine a little, like one of those like little soda can boxes. So like, but no soda in it, just a box of little toys. And they came to our thing. It's like, hey, do you want to buy some toys? And I'm thinking like, you trying to sell toys? I'm not trying to buy toys, but can I sell toys with you? And they're like a little bit bigger. So I go grab some toys that I'm willing to get rid of. I'm like, hey, can I sell some of my toys? And they kind of like gave me like, cool guy. Nah, you can't you can't sell these toys with us. And then one guy's like, oh, you can put one in here. So I put it in there and I'm just following them as they're knocking on these doors. And then none of my toys sold. But then I'm like, okay, how can I make money? You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, grass. And then everyone's got to cut it. And then boom, that was just kind of. That's kind of
wait a minute, bro. That's fire. So you threw away your toys in the bus. Okay, I know we're gonna keep going, but I like this is a fascinating piece, and I think that a lot of our viewers, especially a lot of my following, are like startup entrepreneurs, are people who are aspiring to be entrepreneurs, man. And the fact that your mind, because normally, right, a 12-year-old or as a kid, you see toys, want to buy toys, I'm like, Dad, Mom, can I buy some toys? You're thinking consumer, you're thinking producer. Why do you think your mind was like that at that point in time? What? Oh, I want to sell them with you. Let me put a toy in there and go around with you.
I don't know. Oh, maybe that's a great. See, you're asking some good questions, man. Now I'm like thinking like life. I'm like, okay, I would say, well, being exposed to the Word of God early. So Proverbs is a book of wisdom, and so I remember literally like reading Proverbs and being like, God, like help me be wise, because Solomon was the wisest man to be on this earth, to walk the earth, period. He consulted with kings and queens of other nations. Like they came to him. So Solomon early on was like my superhero. Right. A lot of people, and we also didn't have like mainstream like TV, because I would say my dad is cheap, but
oh, it's outside. Okay. Oh, I was like, "There's hitting my." You good?
I hear a little bit.
All right, can we can get back in on it, right? We can cut that part, right? All right, my bad.
All right, bet.
Sorry about that.
So for me, like I would say my dad was cheap. He'd probably say he's frugal. But he wasn't trying to do it. I'm not cheap. I'm frugal, right? Like, okay, Dad, you cheap. But,
right.
But he wasn't trying to do, like, he was very intentional about what we watched and everything. And so we didn't have like, Disney Channel, and like we had the antenna. Okay. So I was like antenna guy, like, okay, to the left, to the right. Boom. So we get like Ion Television, some other cheap channel, TBN.
Come on, TBN. You would have TBN. I learned about TBN in prison, bro. Come on.
God, bro. So some of my superheroes were Bible characters. Ultimately. And so once I saw Solomon, I'm like, this guy has got it all. He's super wise. He's running a kingdom. He did fall off and like, he had a harem. So that's not quite, what I'm trying to do. But I was like, he was capable. So anyways.
Didn't he intentionally do that though? Like go into like the point where he was like, I want to see what it seems like to be a fool. I'm going to experience all this crazy stuff.
Yeah, he did. And then he talks about that in Ecclesiastes.
Come on,
about how come on, so you're in there.
Come on, man. I know. Listen, I know, I mean,
I know you in there. I know you in there. So because I mean, at one point he's like, it's all vanity.
Right.
And so, but he became one of my superheroes. And so I'm like, oh, wow. Like, it was just industrious. He was industrious. He's very wise. And there's like a lesson in every letter of that book. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I knew that. And then I knew I just liked money. Because like we'd, go to McDonald's. You got McDonald's money?
Not the famous one.
Oh, bro.
The famous, you got McDonald's money.
The line all the time, bro. And then, and that was also like big. I was like, I'm a nerd, bro. So like I love to read. I was big into like Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Pokemon cards, and I'm trying to like and Nerf guns. You know what I'm saying? So I want these things.
Yes.
And I was surrounded actually. There were some friends that I was envious of because I just felt like, man, like you go to their house and they have Disney Channel and they have all these things, you know. It's not like my parents were like struggling, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's just like they knew what was important to them and what was important to us.
Right.
And as a kid, like I feel like when you're developing, you're kind of understanding, you're starting to learn that not everything you want is accessible to you. And my parents were good at teaching us that you have to earn the things that you want.
Ooh.
It's not just going to be given to you.
Come on.
And so we weren't like, oh, you want this, and we're gonna, that wasn't us. You know what I'm saying? So if I wanted to get some Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I need to find a way to go get my Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Come on.
And so then it was like, oh, well, there's a need.
Right.
And my dad would always say, see a need, fill a need.
See a need,
fill a need. Now I started to hate that quote because then when he looked at the dishes, he said, see a need, fill a need. And I'm like, Dad, like we have a dishwasher. Can you do the dish? And he's like, you are the dishwasher. And so, but the principle was, so once I saw people are always cutting grass, and then I saw that the Navy wives, when their husbands were on deployment, their grass would get tall and it would get ugly. And that was like, okay. Now this is it. This is it. So we pulled the trigger on that. Yeah. And then as we went through high school, that's when I was like 16. And that's when I was like, hey, well, my buddies are working at Wendy's or whatever. And then my dad was like, no, just go get more customers. Yeah. And then so we started getting more customers. Boom.
Wow.
You know?
So that really kicked off your on like,
that kicked, yeah, bro. We at one point we had at least 25 consistent customers cutting grass, and then we had 2 paper routes. So we had like two territories.
He was getting it.
Oh, we were getting after it, bro.
Hey,
we were getting after it.
You know what I love about it is like, so I just had this. It was a revelation for me, right? It might not be super wise to everybody else.
Oh, come on.
But so when I was out there, I recently went to Mississippi for my boy Thomas's parents' 50th anniversary. Big shout out to his people, man. But so I was out there, and when I came back, I went to Houston, got a layover, stayed out there, had a good time, then went to Mississippi, came back, and I'm traveling first class. Anything over 3.5, 4 hours, I get first class. I love first class because you get you around people. It gets you around the right people. It's amazing conversations.
Absolutely.
The leg room's beautiful. Like it's a different experience.
They're very nice.
They're very nice.
They're nice to you.
They're nice to you, right?
Yeah.
I think that everybody should, like Steve Harvey said, it's my son cliche. Everybody should expose yourself to first class, bro. You'll never feel comfortable walking back past that curtain. But so I'm leaving. I'm on my way, and I'm sitting there reading the book, Myron Golden's book, Boss Moves Beast. But and I'm like, I love to travel. I love traveling. I love experiencing different cultures, like out of the country. I love experiencing different people in the States. I love to eat different food. I love to have these 5 hour. I don't like 5 hour flights, but I love the flights when I'm reading and studying and having time to think.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. I love that. I love that. Right. And I'm like, okay, well, that's expensive. Right. It's expensive. You know, spending that much money on the first class, consistently going places every other month or whatever the case. It's an expensive thing. But my mind went, okay, I love to do this. And this is the barrier to it. So there's a gap right here, right? So what do? Well, then I have to get more money. Like, you know what I'm saying? I have to make more money, obviously. Absolutely. So my mind automatically started turning. Now, this, I don't want people to take from this. It means as soon as your income or your money comes up, you raise your expenses. Don't do that. Don't do that by any chance. But I'm like, okay, if I make 4 times as much that it costs to do this, I can afford to do that.
Bingo.
So really, I love how you were like, man, I want Disney. I want toys. I want this is my thing, but those cost money. So here's the gap.
Yes.
Let me fill the gap, bro. So that's freaking brilliant. But let's go. So you're 16, you've been doing business and everything. I believe. Did you go into the military yourself?
I didn't. I was close, but I did not.
Okay.
So so we'll fast forward through college. There's a few books that really changed the game for me.
Oh, tell us.
The first book that exposed me to real estate, passive income, all that stuff was Money Mastering the Game by Tony Robbins.
Woo!
Okay. So, huge. And I was a big reader, you know, and shout out to really like my mom, because my mom was like the force behind academic success. Like there was no such thing as C's in this house. This is your job. Like you produce A's and B's, but those B's better turn into A's. You know what I'm saying? That was kind of the standard. The standard. You know what I'm saying? So and I just had a love for reading, and we read all kind of different things, you know, like, and I shout out to the parents that empower their kids to just read something. We're reading manga like Naruto. I'm texting my sister yesterday. So there's this book series, Aragon by Christopher Paleoni.
Oh wow.
I was
Aragon,
it's like it's kind of like fantasy.
Is that the dragon and stuff?
Dragon?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Apparently, he's got 2 more books that I wasn't aware of.
Right.
So that's a whole nother sidebar. But so I'm gonna get off of that. But anyways, just this love for reading. And so once I read that book, though, bro, up until that point, my biggest exposure to business or any of that stuff was like, the grass that we were cutting and everything, and like Monopoly.
Mm-hmm.
But real estate investment, passive income, financial instruments, like I did not know any of that.
Right.
So my dream was, I want to become a pilot.
Right.
Like I was able to fly in a flight camp.
Right.
My sophomore year of high school, got some flight miles, and it was like exposure to this world of like, and the cool thing was the program director was this black man that was in the Air Force, and he was a pilot. Yes. And so we went to Tuskegee, Alabama.
Oh.
And we got to learn about the Tuskegee Airmen and Red Tails, and the whole like flight camp was based around their story, and we're getting ground school and flight school. And I'm like, yes, like this is going to be me. Fast forward junior year of college that summer, I'm like, okay, now I want to be a pilot so I can make money, so I can invest it in real estate and have freedom.
Free. Okay.
So because that's when I started to realize, like, yes, flying is cool, but this freedom, being able to make money from anywhere, like that is the ultimate goal, And so end up one of my buddies I wrestled with, his dad was in real estate, met with him, and I was like, hey, his name's Tyler, great guy. And I still talk to him to this day. Like you were talking about having mentors in your life.
Right.
Huge. There's no way I would have accomplished or will accomplish anything that I want to accomplish without having people 10 steps ahead of me and people 10 steps behind me that I can pour into. Like that's like the model. Like you got to have someone 10 steps ahead to tell you, hey, this is your next step. In the abundance of wise counselors, there is safety. It's a proverb. Bingo.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on. So, say that again real quick.
In the abundance of wise counselors, there is safety.
Come on.
And not just any counselor, wise counselors.
Wise counselors.
Right? Because you can get your counsel for some people and you mess your life up.
That part.
One decision.
Yeah. Bad information.
Bad information.
Bad information.
Check it. You know what I'm saying? Fact check. That's what everyone says. Fact check it.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
So wise counselors, right? And then that's going to be evidenced by the life that they're living. If they're living the life that you want to live, boom, that's an indicator that this might be a wise counselor for you.
Woo. Pause. that was a heavy gem right there. Wise counsel, and if they're living the life that you want to live, those are the people. But you said 2 things. One of my mentors in prison, right? He told me, he said, bro, the purpose on this earth is to teach and learn. Teach and learn. You should always be learning. You should always be teaching, right? And you really don't fundamentally understand anything until you can teach it. And if you could teach it to a 4th grader, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so the importance of that, man, I just want to dive. How has that experience been for you? How you said you want some people 10 behind you and 10 in front of you. How's that experience as far as the teaching aspect?
Oh, bro. It's like you said, you do not know it until you can teach it. It's been fulfilling. Actually, there's been some seasons in my life that have been very hard, like personally, like where, just in the depths, super depressed.
Right.
And I coach a wrestling team.
Come on.
And I'm telling you, having those kids that I pour into during that season saved my life. Whew. Period. So it's like, there's a scripture, it's better to give than it is to receive.
Come on.
And I believe that principle is there for a reason, not just, it's like for 2 things. When you're giving and when you have people that are focused on giving, then you can ensure that the next generation is empowered.
Ooh. Come on.
So it's like we're designed to have a certain feeling. I feel like there's just a dopamine rush that is more powerful than almost anything we can experience on this earth after you've given into somebody else. And so it's like, I feel like I was reflecting on this just like a few days ago in my journal, but it's like, we're designed to heavily enjoy giving more than receiving. Cause you can consume, but there's a point to like, at the end of something, like if it's your favorite Netflix show or your favorite drink or sports game, like there's a certain level of happiness that stops. Like when you're eating, eat. Oh, I'm hungry. But then once you're full, like happiness, like the happiness level just drops off at a certain point. But there's a exponential, unlimited feeling that you can get by just giving to other people.
I want to comment on this. I see. I was looking at I think it was a podcast recently, right? And I'm gonna mess up the number. I'm just gonna throw the number. I think it was close to, but it said that they did a research study that said a person making, I think they said $60,000-$70,000 a year can actually be just as happy as a person making a few $1 million a year. It was like it's not the money that changes that, right? And it's just the fundamental happiness in it. Because once you make about 70,000, you could be okay.
Yeah.
Unless you want the supercars and all that, but you could be okay.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And the multi-millionaire, they could be okay with what the $70,000 has. It's just the stuff that's filling the middle of it, right? And so what it made me dive in for myself, I started looking at, I make a pretty decent between what I have, a pretty decent salary. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I got some decent stuff. I want a lot more.
Yeah.
But I could stop right now and be pretty happy. The only thing I gotta build is the things in between. And I could be good.
Come on.
Yes. And so like what you're saying is like now I'm starting to search out what it is more of fulfillment.
That's it.
You know what I mean? More fulfillment. So what you just said is key.
Yeah.
It's key.
Yeah.
Because I've experienced it myself.
Come on.
And when somebody hears that and they think into where they are, they're gonna feel that same thing, brother.
100%. I know you experience it because like I'm seeing literally it's that if there's a certain energy that you start to emanate when you're in the process of giving, because now it's like a heart posture. Yes. And so I believe that's the thing that attracted us. Because I didn't know you from nothing. I just knew this guy. He's got great energy. Like, what does he do or what does he want to do? Like, let's just get together for lunch. And that's literally how our friendship started. So it's like when that's in you, it comes out of you. You know what I'm saying? So to kind of land the plane on that great question is having people to pour into has changed my life. And then I learned so much from them.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Like it causes my perspective to be different. I feel like as I've been coaching and then mentoring some young men in my life, like I am more empathetic. I'm a little bit more patient.
Right.
And then there's times where I'm just like aggravated. But then once you start to like collect stories of different people and to see how different people will behave because of XYZ factors in their life, it's like you start to create an awareness and a perception checking. Like now I'm kind of like starting a rhythm of, hey, you know what? This is how this person is presenting themselves right now. But because like you help more people, so now you have more stories in your database is kind of how I think about it. And so now when you attack a new situation, it's like you can go through a registry of, okay, well, this is how this problem was solved, or you remind me of this person. Maybe you're dealing with something that this person was dealing with. Wow. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And then you're more graceful with the person that's in front of you. And you might be able to say, hey, you know what? Tell me about this thing in your life. Like, are you dealing with this? How did you know? Because you've been helping people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yes, it's helpful for them, but man, I feel like 10x I am being helped. And then there's times where you're counseling somebody or helping them in a certain area. And then like, you have to like listen to what you're saying because you know that everything you're telling them is what you need to hear from you. Need to hear from me.
They say we teach best what we need to know.
Oh my God, bro. Oh my God.
No, it's fire, bro. What I want to see, I know we talked to you into real estate. You had Tyler that mentored you and everything.
Yeah.
What are you? Because I feel like real estate is a sexy term, especially right now.
Yeah.
I talk to a lot of our young folks in the program, man.
Yeah.
And we've had a couple come towards you. And they're like, I want to get into real estate or stocks. And I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I just don't think they fully understand. First of all, there's all different parts of real estate. When I bet you was in what part of real estate? Finance.
Yep.
And now
I'm a broker.
Now you're a broker, right? So to an individual that wants to get into real estate, what are like the first 3 steps you would tell them for them to become a successful real estate person? Real estate, whatever.
Okay, great question. And to your point, saying like I want to be in real estate is like saying I want to be in America. It's like, okay.
Okay.
That's great. Like what state?
Where? Right.
What climate are you Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Connecticut. You know what I'm saying? So to your point, it's a broad thing. I would say if someone wants to get into real estate, I would start with, and there's the advice I was given is like, what is your skill set? What's your personality trait? All right. The cool thing is with real estate, you don't have to be like, you can be introverted and have a big business. You can be extroverted and have a big business.
Ooh.
So it's really just about knowing. I would start to kind of internalizing, who am I and who are the people I want to connect with.
Come on.
So I would start saying like, okay, you want to be in real estate? That's great. Ultimately, it's just about serving people. That's what it really is. It's just about serving people. Step one is, if you want to be because the things I've been in real estate, I've made money as a loan officer.
Okay.
So I was in the financing part of real estate,
right.
Which ultimately the job of a loan officer is to figure out someone's financial situation,
right.
Figure out what loan program is out here. So financial situation, okay. Loan program, find a way for them to meet in the middle, and then boom, get them approved for a loan. Now that they are approved for a loan, now they can go talk to the real estate broker and find a house.
Come on.
All right. So we got to get them the money to buy the product.
Okay.
All right. That's essentially the job of the loan officer. As a real estate broker, your job is so now you're dealing with the product itself. So now after the person has the money, you're going to help them find the product, find the house. And then ultimately the biggest value that a real estate broker provides is negotiation and making and protection.
Okay.
At the end of the day. So my job now as a real estate broker on both the residential and the commercial side of things is to make sure that my clients, they get the house that they want to get at the price that they want to get it.
Come on.
And they're saving money or protecting their money in the process. So that's the job of the real estate broker. So you have the money side, then you have the product side. Then there's other facets of real estate where you can make money. I've made money as a wholesaler as well.
I remember you was doing the wholesale. You made a couple dollars off that. You made a couple dollars off that wholesale.
Wholesaling is what allowed me to get out of the finance piece and get into the broker piece. So I did some deals. I think I made like 40K, and then I was like, I'm out.
He said, hey, famous Lisa words, got a blast. I made my 40K, got a blast. He said, I hit my lick. Now that's, hey, look, to the people listening, that's a lick right there. Big lick. 40K, I'm out of here.
I gotta go. Like, I'm not fulfilled, no longer fulfilled here. I found a new way to make money, which that's a whole nother story. But it was very empowering. Because to be like, I loved the relationships.
Right.
Back when I was doing the finance part, it was the relationships, it was connecting with people.
Okay.
Ultimately, what happened is I had a couple clients that I've been working with for like over 2 years, 2 of them. Okay. And now it's not all wins, right? So this is like some of my losses. So I had 2 of them that I was working with for 2 years, and then a different client that I had just been introduced to in this same month. They're all supposed to close in this same month. Okay. Wow. Interest rates are getting super competitive at this time. One of the clients, I did like a refinance for them because they were going to sell. I'm like, no. Let's do a refinance on this house. Yeah. That way we can lower the rate. You can keep it. Yeah. Then you'll turn it, you'll get your money up, and then you'll turn this into a rental property so that those 2 kids you have there, you can either sell it and pay for their college or just maintain it over time.
He gave him the bag blueprint.
Bro.
He gave him the bag. Did you guys just hear that? Hold up. He just gave the bag blueprint in like 5 seconds.
Oh, yeah, I was a loan officer. I know. No, I mean, most of them, I mean, they'll just try to get the bag real quick, or, you know what I'm saying?
Come on.
Oh, bro, that's my goal.
Come on.
Because it's like, if it's my mom, that's how I think about it.
Yeah.
How would I want my mom to be treated?
Right. Ooh. Real talk.
And that's the level of service I'm gonna provide.
Come on. Come on.
Jesus, he gave me the business blueprint. The greatest among you is the servant. So what's your business plan? Serve.
And he gave us the biblical lesson with it.
Period. It's simple. It's like we overcomplicate things. But if I can love on you as much as possible and have your best interest in mind, it will all work out.
Come on.
It's like, we could pay for money for advertising or but ultimately word of mouth is going to be the biggest and best marketing resource and source for the rest of time, because we're going to trust people more than we're going to trust technology. So, as all this other technology comes up, like, that's great. There's different ways to market. That's great. But ultimately, how is the experience right here? You know what I'm saying? So, back to the thing, essentially they followed the game plan, refied the first house. They're in their position to buy the next house now in a new community. I'm super excited for them. I lose that deal to an 1/8 in rate, essentially 0.125, or it came down to about like $45 in a monthly payment.
No,
I lost the deal to $45 a month.
What?
Now part of me is like, I'm heartbroken because we've been rocking together. Like I thought, you know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna keep doing deals together. Like I know the effort I'm putting into this.
Right.
At the same time, I'm not making that 45 extra a month payment.
Right.
So it's like I can't be mad.
Yeah.
But I'm hella disappointed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Another client, they were going to be first time home buyers. One of them had just gotten into. So when you're self-employed, you need 2 years of tax. Like you have to be able to track your income for 2 years and be able to, have your tax returns done and dialed in.
Right.
Oftentimes self-employed people will like try to write off everything that they can because you want to hide from Uncle Sam as much as you can, which is fine. Like the less you show, the less you owe. And there's strategies for that. However, when it comes to financing a property, you want to show as much as possible.
Oh, okay. So what you're saying, if you're planning on buying a home, it's not smart to try to write off every single thing because you want to show that you're getting the most income.
Bingo.
And the most income is going to put you in position to get the best loan to purchase your property.
100%. That's specifically if you're a self-employed person.
Specifically self-employed person.
If you're a self-employed person. Because here's what will happen. And I saw this a lot. And it was kind of like, it was heartbreaking, but then once they understood, they're like, okay, I'll get it. And now they knew how to play the game. So say your business makes you like $200K a year, right? But you're able to show that you made $50K.
Right.
So when you go to get a house, you're like, hey, I made all this money. Yeah, I'm about to go get a nice house. Well, because you showed on your taxes you made $50K, the loan officer is going to say, well, you made $50K.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? Well, this is what you reported. Mm-hmm. Right. So, and then you have to have 2 years of consecutive income because the bank is trying to underwrite everything because they're all about risk mitigation. Right. So they have to think about, from the bank's perspective, if you default on this house, it's going to be our problem.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't want to have to deal with that problem.
Right.
So we have to ensure that you're not going to default. If you're self-employed, your income is less predictable than someone who is employed by a company, which is why you have different rules in that play. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you made 200, you reported 50. So now we're not going to recognize 200. We're going to recognize the 50. So for any people that are self-employed, if you want to buy a house in 2 years, just figure out how much you want to write off, but be like, just be ready to take the tax hit for 2 years. And that way you'll be able to get like the biggest qualifying amount for your purchase.
Okay. All my self-employed people, I know I got a lot of self-employed followers right now. You guys heard the game right there, man. So if you guys want to get that house a couple years, make sure you're figuring out, get your tax people, tell them what your plan is. Get with Jahleel. He's going to be able to tag up in here. He'll give you the blueprint. I tell you, he's getting the money blueprint in 5 seconds, bro. But, okay. So look, we got the first, you said, figure out what conducive to your personality, what part of real estate. And you said there was 2 more. Yes, 2 more.
Okay. So figure out, who is the person that you are? What communities do you connect with? Mm-hmm. Ultimately, it's about what community do you want to serve?
Mm.
That's really the first step.
Right.
Second step, if you want to be, I would say, if you want to be a real estate agent, then you're going to, or if you're in the state of Washington, you're going to the Department of Licensing or whatever state that you're watching this in. You'll go to your state's Department of Licensing, and you'll usually be able to sign up for the test through that department.
Mm.
It also, you have to do about like 90 hours of education, and then you take the test.
Okay.
There's a state level test, and then there's a national level exam.
Okay.
Once you pass both of those, then you're licensed. And then step 2 is you have to find a brokerage firm to be able to hang your license under. So it's like, you can't just be like, hey, solo dolo. You got to have somebody to represent you in case something goes wrong. And so essentially, like if there's a lawsuit, they're not suing you, they're suing the company that you work for.
Okay.
Essentially. So as a real estate agent or a broker, I am an independent contractor of the current company I'm with is Pure Real Estate.
Okay.
All right.
Got you.
So there's all kinds of, Keller Williams, Sotheby's, and Windermere, a lot of different ones.
Right.
So you do the course, you take the exam, you find a brokerage. And then when it comes to finding a brokerage, you're probably going to want to be like, if you're newer, locking in with a team is usually really good, because that way you're seeing more deals and you're getting exposure. That's what I would do. Right. If I was like, hey, I'm brand new, I want to get into the real estate game, I would do all the things necessary to get my test and license. And you can just find somebody, hit me up at Jahleel Vester, Instagram. I can get you connected. Okay. Literally anywhere, like whatever.
We're going to make sure we tag him. He's going to be collaborating in it. We're going to make sure we got all his everything on there.
Oh yeah. So I'll talk to you. Whatever state you're in, I've got agents in different parts of the state. the states, like so, like here to Florida, like doesn't matter.
Come on.
And then I would suggest getting with a team because the biggest value you'll get from that, like one part of your brain might be, oh well, if I close this deal, I want to get the most money out of it possible. You can't think that way. You got to think about the long term. Ultimately, you need to collect stories and experience. And so when you have a team, whoever's ahead of you that's doing more deals than you, they have both. They have more stories and more experience. So when you're talking to somebody, you can leverage their stories and say, oh yeah, I'm on a team that's been doing this business for 30 years. I'm on a team that's been doing this business for 5 years. Oh, now you have more credibility. And once you have a new opportunity that's presented itself in front of you, like I'll tell you, I was showing a 27 unit commercial building, apartment building this week.
You're moving to commercial building.
We're doing commercial.
You don't want commercial.
We're doing commercial. We make a commercial for commercial.
Hold up, commercial for commercial. My boy's in commercial building.
And check this out though. All right. So it's exciting to me because this is one of my first commercial deals.
Come on.
All right. And so now why do I have confidence that I can execute on this? Because I'm working with a guy that's been doing commercial for 30 something years. Right. All right. I did a loan for his ex-wife. And we've been tight for like 2 years. So there's been different deals I've shot his way and everything. Right. And so because I'm like, hey, I found the person, I know I want to serve them, and I know somebody that knows more than me.
Come on.
So we're partnering on this deal together. We're both going to make money on it. And I'm willing to give up commission because I know that he's going to help empower me to close the deal and serve my customer. And now I'm getting experience and exposure.
Come on, bro.
So it's like, we can't be selfish.
Come on,
you know what I'm saying? So if back to it, if I was an agent starting off new, I'd find a team, someone that has more experience and exposure and stories, because ultimately that's what you're doing. You're telling people stories.
Yes.
That's ultimately all you're doing. Yeah. What's their problem? Do I understand your problem? Can I solve your problem?
Okay.
That's the business principle, and you just apply it to whatever industry you want.
Gotcha.
If you're a loan officer, I would say, or if you want to be a loan officer is someone who maybe you don't want to go out there and generate your own leads yourself, but you want to service business people that are doing all of that. So if you're like a support character, like, hey, I don't need to be the foreground of everything, but I love supporting other people in business, then I think you'd be perfect to be a loan officer.
Okay.
Someone doing finance.
Okay. So. No, I appreciate that, man. Giving the blueprint and the breakdown of everything as far as in the real estate. I have a couple more things, man. One is I know you said the economic development piece.
Yeah.
Now, I know a bit about it. If I'm not mistaken, people can reach out to you and apply to get business loans, right? Or with the people you were with. Or
I'm not doing that anymore. So I'm not doing business financing directly.
Okay.
I can resource people if they do want to do that. So the economic development piece now, so there's a company, a nonprofit in Seattle on Rainier, actually called Urban Impact.
Okay.
And I work with a team over there on the economic development sector, and we provide business education to people.
Business education.
Yes, sir. So I was on a actually I think they just produced the interview yesterday on Converge Media.
Yeah. Big shout out to Trey Holiday.
Yeah. Big shout out to the Day Trey show.
Yes.
Shout out to her.
Come on, man.
I mean, I love their energy. Yeah. They're just awesome. They're filthy, I was just on there talking about some of the programs that we do. And so if people want to tap into that, essentially we've got if you're in ideation, say I have a business idea, I want to create something, or you're in execution. So I'm in business right now and I want to make my good great or my better best. We have programs specific to those different needs. And people can tap in on that at urbanimpactseattle.org, economic development, and then they can sign up for whatever program they want.
What made you want to get into the economic development space for urban impact, for the urban area, for the culture, right?
Yeah.
What made you want to get into that space?
So there's a guy I met, his name's Andre. We went to church together, and then like we were meeting for a little bit and kind of fell off. And then I reconnected with him and I started talking to him like, hey man, like, what do you do? You know what I'm saying? And just being super straight up, I was, so I told you how I lost those deals as a loan officer.
Right.
And it just broke my heart. And it also made me feel like powerless. And I don't like that feeling. Like I did collegiate sports. I'm a wrestler. If I'm going to lose, let it be on me.
That part.
But don't let me lose a deal because someone in a back office in San Diego made a decision that is going to impact my business.
Right.
I was supposed to make $20K that month. I made $0.
Wow.
And that's the reality of real estate.
Wow.
Okay. You can make big money and you can make no money. All right. And so after that, and that feeling of like, I have no control over this. And these people that I've been rocking with for 2 years ghosted me on $45. When I tell you low, that was a low, bro. Like rock bottom has a basement door, bro. And I found it. Okay. And so after that, that's when I found wholesaling. And once I made that money, that's when I became a broker. But now that I'm a broker, and look, like you made this money, but the thing I kind of messed up on, I think I was just so tired. I kind of just chilled. I started coaching wrestling. And if you're not like consistently hustling, then the big checks aren't going to keep coming.
Right.
And so I needed to find essentially another job. Right. And so I'm talking to my guy, Andre, and then he's starting to open up to me and tell me about this work that he's doing. I'm like, wait a minute, bro. You're getting paid to consult with business people and ultimately, in its simplest form, find them and ask them how you can help them. Like you have programs where you can educate them and then give them an opportunity to pitch for money. And then you're actually providing money to them. And now they're like starting their businesses and they're living like you can get paid to just help people. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? So literally after that, I'm like, and there was another job opportunity that I was looking at. It was like a marketing thing for some commercial builder or whatever. But I'm like, this is fulfilling. And back to what you were saying earlier, fulfillment, bro. And I'm like, it still kind of shocks me that I can still get paid to help people. So that's how I found myself in the economic development space through Urban Impact. And it's become an organic way for me to touch more people's lives. And that's actually where this commercial deal came from.
Come on, bro. Come on. I love it. I think for the last thing I really want to do is like one big thing for me is I want to get a lot of my followers are they're at the beginning base. They either are just starting out in entrepreneurship or they're wanting to get entrepreneurship. They're probably in a profession making about 40 to 50, 60K a year. My goal, I want to get 100 people to at least 6 figures.
Let's go.
Right? At least 6 figures a year. Right. And so and you were able to do that. There was a point where you were making a certain amount that was not there.
Yeah.
And then there was a point where you're making that. Can you give the people that are watching 3 mindset shifts, right? 3 mindset shifts that Jahleel Vester was able to implement to take him to 6 figures, right?
That's a really good question. Because I made 6 figures for the last 5 whatever years now. So
you don't even remember not making 6 figures.
It's I would say what I had to do, it's really about who you become. And to do that, you're finding problems to solve and you're taking initiative. So that would be the first one. You're not a person that's going to sit there and wait to be told what to do. No matter where you're at, you can be employed somewhere, but you're going to see a situation or an issue, and then you're going to be the person that always handles it.
Right.
So that's the first thing. You have to be around people that are striving and that have that same excellence mindset. So it is easy to outgrow people if you're really striving.
Yeah. And
it doesn't have to be lonely though if you keep finding other people that are striving as well. So that one's huge, because if your association is not, if they're talking to you more about Netflix than the next book that they're reading, it's going to drag you. It's going to drag you. And then like when you have other people's energy and ideas because life is not easy and you're not going to feel like every day was a touchdown.
Come on.
Sometimes you're just looking for a first down. Sometimes you're looking just for the next yard.
Say that again. Life's not easy. And what?
It's not easy, and you're not always going to get a touchdown. Sometimes you're just looking for the first down. You know what I'm saying? And so when you have people that are rocking with you to just make that next inch, but you're all trying to get there, that energy propels me. Like meeting with you, people like you with that energy and ambition, it energizes me. It propels me so when I feel like, oh, I just made negative yards. Okay. I can get 20 on this next one because me and my boy just chopped it up. I got new ideas now. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm a problem solver. I'm connected with people that are also striving, and in my spiritual life, it has to be strong, bro, because Lord knows it's like, I think there's mom was telling me about a pastor, and he was saying that I'm either up or I'm getting up.
Ooh.
I'm either up or I'm getting up. And that's only because my faith is in the Father.
Come on.
Because there's times where I'm like, I don't even know how I'm gonna get out of this situation. Or if I'm doing a deal, I'm like, okay, Lord, like, for example, I got this deal and it's great and we're starting off pretty strong, but the person that wants to sign this master lease needs to figure out their financing. So I'm like, okay, Lord, how are they going to figure out the financing? Who do we need to talk to? Where do we need to go? What's the next step? I don't know. And so when you hit all those I don't knows, it's like, give me wisdom, give me energy. And he does it. And he does it. And so I'll tell you, and like I was telling you earlier, being able to impact those kids and how that saved my life. If it wasn't for the grace of God, bro, I wouldn't be here. So my faith has to be locked in. You got to be around people that are also striving, and you got to be a problem solver. You can't be lazy. That's what I say, those three things.
Nah, I appreciate it, man. Look, let the people know where they can find you to tap in.
Yes, sir. Well, maybe I'll look at this camera then. If you want to tap in with me, just find me on Instagram at Jahleel Vester. I also have a YouTube I'm starting to build, so that's also Jahleel Vester. Yeah, that's it.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you, bro. Much love. Come
Thank
on,
you, bro.
Can we? Can you get a picture like this for the thumbnail? Or maybe, yeah. Well, from the side, from the just us.
Should I get
like
over
you're
here or
speaking.
right here?
Yeah, yeah. Pretend like you're speaking or something. Because then I got. Oh, bye. You gotta put it on. You're not supposed to keep it on live. Peace out, y'all. The real. They done heard me say pretend like you're smiling speaking. Come on, bro.
This is the background.
Oh,
Are you signing off though or what?
Hey, yeah. Appreciate it. Did I say it? Bye, guys.